All right, let's talk about AI, but probably not in the way you're used to. We're going to move way beyond just asking its simple questions. Today is all about how you can strategically partner up with an AI to make your own writing incredibly clear, powerful, and, actually effective. So let's dive in and unpack these strategies.
So here's the game plan. First, we're going to tackle a problem I think we've all run into, the wall of jargon. Then we'll get you acquainted with your new AI assistant and open up a whole toolkit of strategies, using AI as an editor, then as a creator, and even as a full-on creative partner. And by the end, you'll know exactly which tool to pull out for whatever job you're facing.
Okay, let's start with the big problem. So much of the world's most important information, from scientific breakthroughs to critical business reports, it feels like it's locked away, trapped behind this massive wall of complicated language.
I mean, you've totally been there, right? You're reading something important, maybe a medical study or a financial document, and bam, you hit a sentence that is so dense with technical terms that you feel like you need some kind of secret decoder ring just to figure out what's going on.
Take a look at this. This is a real sentence from a real medical summary. And sure, it's technically correct, but it's not exactly a walk in the park to read, is it? Words like streamlined methods and literature review, they just create these barriers for anyone who isn't already an expert in that one specific field.
The solution to this is a beautiful little thing called a plain language summary, or PLS for short, and it is exactly what it sounds like. A summary that translates those complex ideas into clear, simple language that pretty much anyone can get their head around. It's the key that unlocks all that trapped information.
And this, right here, is where AI enters the chat. It's an unbelievably powerful tool for creating these super clear summaries. But, and this is a big but, it's not magic. You can't just toss a bunch of text at it and expect a perfect result every single time. And this is absolutely the most important point of our whole conversation. The AI's success depends completely on you and the strategy you bring to the table. See, the quality of your prompt literally determines the quality of what you get back. So today we're unpacking a full toolkit with 9 specific, really powerful strategies that you can use to be the director.
Okay, our first set of strategies is all about treating the AI as your own personal editor. This is your go-to when you've already got a draft written and you just want to make it better.
The simplest method is called natural enhanced. You just give the AI your text and ask it to improve it. And here's the key part. You also ask it to list the changes it made. This way, it's not a black box. You see exactly how it simplified the language or shortened sentences to make the whole thing flow better and sound more engaging. Now, method 2 takes it a step further. AI is feedback. Instead of just rewriting your text, the AI acts more like a writing coach. You ask it to find the problems, and it'll spit out a specific, numbered list of weaknesses, everything from sentences that are way too long to confusing words. It's an incredible way to actually learn and get better. And here's a perfect example of that in action. The AI pointed out that the original explanation of C-reactive protein was just too clunky. The before is, well, it's a mouthful. But the after, it's sharp, it's concise, and it's so much easier to understand. A tiny change that makes a huge difference. The final editing strategy is the most rigorous one. It's called evaluated against criteria. Here, you give the AI a formal checklist. Maybe it's your company's style guide or a journal's submission rules, and you tell it, rewrite this to follow every single one of these rules. It's like quality control, but supercharged. All right, on to our second category. What if you don't have a draft? What if you're just staring at a blank page? Well, this is where we use the AI as a creator. The scripted method is kind of like giving the AI a recipe. First, you give it the ingredients, the full report or source material. Then you give it a very specific structured prompt, the script, that tells it exactly how to build the summary, step by step. And what's so cool here is just how precise that script is. You're not just saying, summarize this. Nope, you're giving it a hard word count and a mandatory 3-part structure. That level of control is what guarantees you get a consistent, useful, and perfectly formatted summary every single time. Next up is the exemplar method. This one is brilliant, especially for matching a specific tone or style. You find a piece of writing you really like, a model summary, and you basically tell the AI, hey, look at this. Analyze its style, its tone, its format, and then write my new summary so it sounds just like that. And just to round out our creator toolkit, there are a couple more. First is summative, which is the most basic approach. You just give the AI a report and ask for a summary. It's super fast, but you get less control. The other one is called with guidance, and it's a really clever two-step process. First, you ask the AI to define what makes a good summary, and then you tell it to write one, following the very rules it just came up with. Okay, our final category. This is where things get really fun, really creative. This is all about using AI not just as an editor or a writer, but as a true brainstorming partner to help you think completely differently. One amazing method is the creative/imagined approach. In this case, the AI was given a plain language summary and was told to transform it into a fake interview script. So all of a sudden, a dry, boring summary becomes this dynamic, engaging conversation. Just listen to how natural that sounds. The AI takes the key finding and just turns it into a clear conversational quote from a fictional expert. This makes the information so much more memorable than a simple block of text. It's a complete reimagining of how you can present information. And finally, we have the most counterintuitive strategy of them all, the cautionary tale. Get this. You ask the AI to do the exact opposite of what you want. You literally tell it to write a bad summary, one that's full of common mistakes. The AI then spits out a flawed example and even gives you a list of the errors it baked in on purpose. By studying what not to do, you become a much sharper writer and editor of your own work. Phew, we've covered a lot of ground, and now you have a full toolkit with 9 unique strategies. So the big question is, how in the world do you choose the right one? Well, this slide is basically your cheat sheet. It all comes down to your goal. If you've already got a draft that needs some polish, you're going to use the AI as editor strategies. If you're looking at a blank page, you'll turn to the AI as creator methods. And if you want to break out of a rut or learn from mistakes, you'll use the AI as partner approaches. It's all about matching the right tool to the task at hand. You know, ultimately, this is the key takeaway. The AI is an incredibly powerful instrument, but you're the conductor. The clarity, the impact of your communication, it doesn't depend on the tech itself. It depends on the thoughtful, precise, and creative instructions that you give it. The real power is in your strategy. So which one are you going to try first?